好，唐念居士，你愿意请法？你现在可以开始。
恭请大德圣听，为此法会集一切众生，经转妙法轮，教导我们如何了生脱死，离苦得乐。殊证无生。Will the Sangha with great virtue, out of compassion, for the sake of this assembly and all living beings, please turn the wonderful Dharma wheel to teach us how to leave suffering and attain bliss and embrace and death and quickly realize long birth.
Namo tassa bhagavato arahato samma sambuddhassa.
Namo tassa bhagavato arahato samma sambuddhassa.
Homage to the blessed, noble, and perfectly enlightened one.
Homage to the blessed, noble, and perfectly enlightened one.
Namo sadanto suchedoye olahadi samya samputoshye.
Namo sadanto suchedoye alahadi samyao samputoshye.
无上甚深微妙法，百千万劫难遭遇。我今见闻得受持，愿切如来真实义。Supreme and wondrous Dharma, subtle and profound, rarely is encountered even in billions of eons. But now we see and hear it and accept it reverently. May we truly understand the Buddha's actual meaning. All right, Tanyan, 居士感恩, okay, all the way from Zhuhai in the most southern part of China. We appreciate the Dharma request. We respectfully acknowledge Kombu-Meri people of the Ugambi language region as traditional storytellers and custodians of the land where our monastery is located. We pay respects to their elders past, present, and emerging, and to all First Nations people whose sovereignty was never ceded. 我们恭敬地承认Ugambi语族的Kombu-Meri人是我们寺院所在地的传统叙事者和守护人。我们向过去、现在和未来的长者们致敬，并且向所有从来没放弃主权的第一民族的原住民致敬。Let's try that one more time here. One more time. Here we go. Right there. Okay. Bell sound wide resounds throughout 100 million worlds. The Buddha's law is heard and spread all throughout the triple world. The wondrous sounds that everywhere fill the Dharma realm with peace. May those who hear it gain the strength to follow in faith the Buddha's path. 众生传3000劫内，佛法扬万亿国中，共寻其义，法界和平，利益报，贪恶厚德。Alrighty, we're ready to go. Hey, I would like to invite, let me say it in Chinese. 愿意听中文的一种中文的翻译流利的普通话呢，你们有办法，我们有办法。这个控制板的右下角有一个小地球，那里说 interpretation， 就在那里，你可以听到 Chinese， 那就没办法，有办法了哈。And on those of you who would like to hear a Vietnamese translation, we would be happy to accommodate you. We have a excellent Vietnamese volunteer who is there week in and week out helping me take my English and translate it over into fluent Vietnamese. Go to the chat box, click on that link and you'll find it. Those of you who would like to request Dharma in the future, if you send an email to Chanyu, our fearless coordinating secretary, she'll be happy to set you up for the Dharma request. Okay, advertisement for tomorrow. People know that last week I was not here on your phone or your computer to continue our storytelling about Master Empty Cloud because I was in Taiwan. We had a grand opening at our new branch in Taichung. It was a very painless and light-filled experience. I've got lots of photos. Not going to show you today. I'm going to show them tomorrow at my lecture on the Entering the Dharma Realm chapter. So come back tomorrow, 1:30 Australia time, 11:30 Taiwan, China time, 7:30 p.m. in California. I've got some amazing stories and photos and to share, as well as the next episode of Sudana's pilgrimage as he becomes a Buddha and everything that he meets along the way. So that's coming up tomorrow. Okay, here we go for today's lecture. Here's our story. We're going to jump right in and just say hello to everybody who's here. From now on, I hope without much change, I will be here regularly. My travels are done for the next couple months, so look forward to being with you over the holiday season, on into Chinese New Year's and beyond. So this is 1913 to 1915 stories. Master Empty Cloud is in Yunnan. He is 74, 75, and 76 years old. And the title is Yuan Hun Suo Ming Bao Chou, an avenging spirit demands a life in repayment. Now, really dramatic title, isn't it? But it starts out much more calm. 鬼丑74岁，为会务入京，现兄麒麟内阁总理，任可成，身为护佛教。贾银75岁，会稽山礼仪工程，有藏13大寺。The master was 74, 1913. He went to the capital on important Buddhist Association affairs. He spoke with Prime Minister Xiong Xiling and the Minister of the Interior, Ren Kocheng, who worked to protect Buddhism. The next year, he went back to Chickenfoot Mountain in Yunnan, where he oversaw the repair of monasteries and temples. He traveled through Tibet and visited 13 great monasteries. Okay, now that's pretty ordinary. It doesn't sound very exciting. In fact, when we look inside the story to get the details, it was anything but peaceful. So, what was going on? Let's take a look at our actual biography written by the master himself. Look at this. "1月1日，孙中山在南京就任临时大总统。2月，宣统宣告退位，亲王。Look at that. Not only was the 亲王, so I'll get to it. 参议员选举袁世凯为临时大总统。四川杜记宜昌城历代 病入藏. Okay, what is this saying? Take a look here. Something happened that year. Sun Yat-sen, Sun Zhongshan, became the president of China. President, not emperor. For the first time in 5,000 years, China had a president. The Xuanzong emperor stepped down. Big change. The Qing dynasty fell. Like I said, those two words, Qing Wang. That was the end of the emperor, the end of the imperial system. China no longer had an emperor. The Senate in China, the Senate subsequently elected Yan Shikai, a general, as provisional president. Sichuan military governor Yin Changheng planned to lead troops into Tibet. Okay, so what else happened? So the Cliff, if I could get your cooperation here, I've got nice big characters on the screen. Could you read these for us? I will scroll. Starting right here.
滇藏佛教分会创始是凡会中处理寺产及兴办事业，须于官厅接洽，而民政长罗荣轩众多阻碍，遂迁阁难行。蔡都松波实为和解，然未能圆满也。活佛及会众公议，请于进京，执雄中西陵任内阁总理，作为助力，乃调罗荣轩入京，以任可成为巡按使，于回边，任对佛教事务尽力维持。
Okay, thank you. So, what was Master Empty Cloud doing? He was trying to set up the Buddhist Association. People who've been listening to the story as we go know that this is the very first time that all of the Buddhists in China agreed that it would be good to have a nationwide association where all the Buddhists are talking to each other. Because why? The imperial government fell. What follows any time the power structure wavers? Chaos and struggle. So each province of China, each state of China, had a different story regarding who was in charge and how were they going to treat the Buddhists. Well, out in the southwest, the answer was violently. Monasteries were burned, monks were jailed or killed. Because Master Empty Cloud talked to the provincial governor warlord, he convinced the man to become a Buddhist. He took refuge with Master Empty Cloud. So because of his personal virtue and his eloquence and his compassion, Yunnan was okay. Other parts of China, not so. So Master Empty Cloud looked beyond Yunnan to Tibet to establish the Buddhist Association. Its founding involved many complicated matters. Oh yeah, don't you know? All issues handled by the association concerning monasteries, properties, and undertakings had to go through the new government. Sichuan is way out in the west. The head of the government is in where? Beijing, in the far northeast. They couldn't be farther apart. When a decision is made in Beijing, does Yunnan follow? Not for sure. So, big issues, big troubles. There's a guy named Luo Rongxuan, who was the director of civil affairs, who did not like Buddhism. Notice in these three words, repeatedly created obstacles, making progress difficult. So here's Master Empty Cloud saying, we Buddhists would like to govern ourselves, we'd like to work with the government, but we want to create a Buddhist association nationwide. This guy, Lord Rongxuan, said no, the director of civil affairs. So what did Master Empty Cloud have to do? He had to go back to Beijing. Governor Cai Congpo tried to get in and smooth things out, but the matter could not be fully resolved. So where did Mr. Empty Cloud go? Empty Cloud went to talk to the lamas. There were lots of, Yunnan is bordering Tibet. So the Buddhists are on both sides of the border, some in Tibet, some in Yunnan. So Master Empty Cloud went out to talk to all the different lamas and all the different temples. And it was decided that Empty Cloud, Master Shuyan, had to go to Beijing to use his influence with the cabinet that used to be the advisors to the emperor. So Xiong Xiling was the new prime minister and provided considerable assistance. How do we know? The troublemaker got called back to Beijing. Who won in the power struggle? Empty Cloud won. And they tapped the non-Buddhist guy and said, come back to the capital. We want to keep an eye on you. So Master Empty Cloud's influence won. Ren Kochang, who was much more reasonable, was appointed to be inspecting commissioner. I came back to Yunnan and did my utmost to maintain and uphold Buddhism in Yunnan. He's being modest here. In fact, Master Empty Cloud, one by one, first it was the guy, what was his name? I've already forgot the name of the, here, let's see here. Hold on. Here we go. The warlord who Master Empty Cloud subdued and turned him into a Buddhist was we've got his, I'll show you the picture. There were 4 episodes with this, his name was, coming right up, Chan Session, armies marching, here he is. Commander Li, that's correct. What is Li Gunyuan? Li Gunyuan, correct. Thank you. Li Gunyuan was the Beijing appointed warlord who was burning monasteries, jailing or killing monks. He had determined that Buddhism was the problem obstructing China from stepping into the 20th century. One meeting with Master Empty Cloud changed everything. Remember, they had a conversation. Master Empty Cloud talked about cause and effect, explained karma to him, and the warlord said, "Hey, let's order some tea and donuts. Let's have some let's talk longer." So all of his good roots, in a hurry, came ripe, and Master Empty Cloud brought him to a brand new awareness. He bowed to the Buddha, asked to take refuge, and became a lifelong Buddhist and Dharma protector. So Master Empty Cloud, one by one, is able to, last week, 2 weeks ago, it was a myna bird that he crossed over. So living beings of all different species are responding to his virtue. So they sent him to Beijing. He got the troublemaker recalled back to the capital, and now he's back in Yunnan. Okay, so Cliff, I'm going to call on you one more time to finish this part of the story. Then we get into the drama for this week. Okay, 请你念一念给大家听。
燕都蔡松坡赴京，唐寅庚、唐继尧代，于逆回稽山休养，乃将会务交代清楚，即回稽山，料理重修星云寺及下阳罗泉寺，计划工程事毕。特庆诸山长老请赴龙华山讲经，正修和尚请往丽江金山寺讲经，朝雪山太子洞到维西中边 阿敦子各地游览，又到藏边参观喇嘛13大寺，回寺过年。
Okay, good. Now, why are we looking at the Nianpu instead of the picture biography? It's because these events didn't make it into the picture biography, but they're here in the detailed autobiography of Master Empty Cloud. There's not much drama here. Yuan Shikai and Li Yanhong became president officially, and this is the third year of the Republic of China. Master Empty Cloud is 75 years old. Cai Songpo of Yunnan went to Beijing. Tang Menggung succeeded him. I came back to Yunnan to recuperate from traveling back across China over and over again. So I handed over all the business of the Fojiao Hui, and I returned to Jizu, Shan Chickenfoot Mountain. I rebuilt monasteries and completed the planning. Then I got invited to Lijiang to lecture on sutras. So made the pilgrimage to various places, Weishi, Zhongdian, Adunzi, other places. Went to Tibet to see 13 great Lama monasteries, then returned to Jizushan. It's now New Year's. Okay, so that didn't make it into the picture biography because it's basically touring around, saying hello to the lamas, consolidating everybody's friendship for the Buddhist Association. Okay, now Cliff, one more time. This is an addendum. This also did not make it into the picture biography, but it's a story that Master Empty Cloud told, and it's really full of drama and details. So we're gonna pay attention. Okay, Cliff, if you would start here, please.
是年于正在龙华山讲经时，大理府所属4县发生地震，以大理为最据，孤设城环西倒塌，无余为寺宇宝塔未倒，仍矗立如故。地震时，震开巨缝，中喷火焰，蔓延燃烧，人争逃命。每遇足下地裂，身即现坠。普欲出时，地又复合，有截断腰肢者，有仅露一头于地面者，眼如生现火焰地狱，惨不忍睹。城中住民数千户，多疾于难，存活寥寥。时有2家金帛户，一赵姓曰万昌号，一杨姓曰战南号。火至其居自息，其处亦未地震。2家人口各数十，竟安然无事。人咸知此2姓者，数代相承，皆持斋念佛，乐善好施者云。
Okay, so here's the story. That year, while I was lecturing on the sutras at Longhua Mountain, an earthquake occurred in 4 counties under the jurisdiction of Dali Prefecture. This is in Yunnan. Dali, the city itself, was the most severely affected. Houses, city walls, and all structures collapsed completely, yet temple buildings and precious pagodas did not fall and remained standing as before. Okay, this is one point to look at here. This is the case, not just in Yunnan in the year 1914, but also in Taiwan, in Thailand, in places like Nepal and Tibet. Also, and not only in Buddhist places, where there is sacred space, where people cultivate the way and recite the Buddha's name or do their prayers, there is protection. So temple buildings, this is factual. Pagodas and temples where the earth shakes are among the safest places to be. Details. When the earth shook, enormous fissures split open, from which flames burst forth and spread, igniting fires. People struggled to flee for their lives. Wherever the ground cracked beneath their feet, their bodies immediately fell in, Just as they were about to climb out, the earth would close again. Some were severed at the waist, others were left with their heads exposed above the ground, resembling living beings plunged into a fiery hell. The scene was unbearably tragic to behold. Now, this is the second time that Master Empty Cloud's personal autobiography has reported earthquakes in the Yunnan, Sichuan area. The last time this happened, he talked about picking up a shovel and digging people out wherever he could. Here it is again, these gruesome, heartbreaking details of natural disasters. Several thousand households lived within the city. Most met with disaster. Very few survived. At that time, there were 2 gold leaf shops in the city. One was owned by the Zhao family, called the Wanchang Dian. One was owned by the Yang family, called the Zhanran Dian. When the fire reached their premises, it extinguished itself. There was no earthquake damage there either. Each household had dozens of family members, yet all were completely unharmed. Everybody knew these 2 families, over several generations, had observed vegetarian diets, reciting the Buddha's name, doing good, and were generous in charity. So it was said. So here I thought this was my choice, to add to today's lecture the account, the addendum added to it, the fuzhu, to the picture biography, because these stories are timeless. We're hearing about political changes in Chinese society. We're hearing about Master Empty Cloud's miracles of healing and his crossing over of foxes. Picture on my screen, if you notice, giving the refuge to foxes. Supernatural events, but his being alive at these tumultuous times in China includes stories that we simply wouldn't know about if we didn't read his autobiography, because these events happen on a large scale to everyone in Yunnan and then everyone in Sichuan. And yet the lens that he gives us is a Buddhist lens. We get to look through his eyes at these, the effect of cultivation and cultivating the way on people moving through natural disasters. So this is timeless. You never know. The clock is ticking as the Earth's tectonic plates shift. I'm here in Australia, and I'm aware that under San Francisco in the Bay Area are multiple earthquake faults. Under Taiwan, under Japan, and Korea and China are multiple earthquake faults. There's more and more talk now about America's Northwest and the subduction zone that is predicted to send a tsunami 100 feet tall to the Seattle and Oregon area. Every year we go to Buddha Root Farm, and as you travel up the coast on Highway 101, there are signs that say earthquake evacuation zone. And as you drive along Highway 101, people go, oh, that's silly. Earthquake? What, tsunamis? What are you talking about? This is Oregon, this is Washington. Exactly. So the Cascadia subduction zone is reported to be overdue, that the records show every, 500 years or so, the earth shakes because there are 2 major faults that meet right there. And as they adjust themselves underneath the surface, it causes a major tsunami that goes from the west coast all the way across the Pacific to Japan. There are traces in Japan of the last several times that this fault area has moved and then sent a tsunami all the way across the Pacific. So the planet is a living thing. The earth is a living thing, and yet when the earth doesn't care about people, it just moves when the time is right to relieve the pressure. And we humans talk about it as a major disaster because the power of the earth's plates exerts big changes in the structures that we build, and the roads, and the houses, and the geography. The mountains become oceans, the oceans become mountains, etc. So, how do we get through it? Here's the story. When the fire reached their premises, it extinguished itself. There was no earthquake damage there. Households had dozens of family members. All were unharmed because they were vegetarians. They recited the Buddha's name. They delighted in doing good. They were generous and charitable. So that speaks for itself. Okay, back to our picture biography. Here we go. The second half. Look at the picture. What is going on in this picture? Here's the story. Yi Mao 76岁，春借其壁，有邓川县。丁孝廉女，年18，一日，虎不省人事，即行便男生，大马其父曰：“汝是事，诬我为匪，至上我命。我即董占标，汝还记得否？”今阎王准报8年之仇，语毕，持刀诛丁。In the spring of 1915, he transmitted the precepts. The 18-year-old daughter of an imperial scholar named Ding, a native of Dongchuan County, suddenly lapsed into a coma. Upon waking, she spoke with a masculine-sounding voice and angrily accused her father, saying, "You abused your powerful position to falsely accuse me of being a bandit. You are responsible for my death. I am Dong Zhanbiao. Do you remember me? King Yama has allowed me to avenge my 8-year grudge." With that, she grabbed a knife and chased after Ding. Oh my goodness, what in the world is going on? So we look to Shifu's verse as a clue. Shifu says, 因果不可逃，造业必受报。今日鬼所命，往时心丧招。We cannot escape cause and effect. Creating karma, we must take the retribution. If today a ghost demands your life, look to your murderous thoughts from the past. Okay, we have suddenly moved away from politics. We've moved away from natural disasters and earthquakes. And we are now into, they say, 天灾人祸. This is a human catastrophe caused, apparently, what is going on? An 18-year-old girl has been possessed by a yuanhun, a vengeful spirit that takes over the daughter's body to pursue vengeance for someone who has wronged her or him in the past. This is a past life event causing chaos in the present. Do you believe it? Well, once again, Master Empty Cloud, he is not doing this to sell books. He's not doing it to be famous or to put a video on TikTok. He's reporting what happened. So, the 18-year-old girl starts to chase her father with a butcher knife, saying, "You harmed me. You said I was a terrorist. You called me a bandit. You arrested me, put me in a van, and sent me to a deportation camp. Sound familiar? So I died, and I'm back to pay you back for your mistreatment of me. Oh boy, that's a situation. What happened next? I think that'll do it for today. See you all next week. No, I wouldn't do that to you. You have to find out. You can't leave us hanging, Dharma Master. Okay. 解冤说戒拜忏, settling a grudge, explaining the precepts, bowing in repentance. Master Empty Cloud is 76 years old. It is 1915. 鬼日必来，女子变心态，家扰攘，乡里聚观，苦之时，积山派素琴，素之二僧，王邓川公武，至丁家，群官鬼凶状，僧曰：劝你不要这样，令地方不安。鬼曰：你出家人，不要多事。Oops. Okay. Every day, when the ghost showed up, the girl's appearance and behavior would suddenly change. Not only did this disturb her family, but the neighbors were affected as well. At the time, there were two monks, Suqin and Suzhi, who were sent from Jizushan, where Master Empty Cloud is, to Dongquan County on monastery business. They passed Ding's house. There was a crowd of people watching the malign goings-on. One of the monks said to the ghost, "Hey, stop messing around. Stop causing trouble." The ghost said, "Mind your own business." Oh boy. So this is a time when anything going on in the village is immediately everybody's business. Everybody's excited because it's a small town. And when an 18-year-old suddenly starts talking like a man, obviously she's possessed, and she's threatening to kill her father. Big business, big goings on. Okay? Luckily, two monks are coming by, and they're monks from Master Empty Cloud's place, from Jizushan, and they notice the crowd. So they step up. They hear that there's possession going on. There's spiritual drama happening that you can't explain unless you understand past lives, cause and effect. So they step in and say, calm down. Stop being so afflicting, because you're causing a lot of trouble. The ghost talks right back to them. Now, notice it says here that 日必来. It says the ghost would show up at different times during the day. So, as I understand the way Master Hua would explain these kind of things, when there is a possession, the ghost is not fixed in time or space. It finds a vessel that it can control. In this case, an 18-year-old girl. She's probably very pure, very innocent, but that innocence allows her to be taken over by the ghost. And so the ghost comes in, and then it can leave. And it goes back to wherever, back to the realm of ghosts. And it can come in. And when it does, everything about the 18-year-old girl changes. Her voice, her mannerisms, her face, her energy, right? So she is fighting with the monks, which by itself would scare most of the locals. But luckily, the monks are not afraid. They are able to deal with the situation. So what do they say? 僧曰：本与我们无干。我师父常曰：冤家宜解，不宜解，愈结愈深。何事得了？鬼司有请，曰：你是谁？僧曰： 住生寺虚云和尚鬼曰：吾愿皈依受戒。Oh. The monks answered, This is not our problem, but our teacher always said to get rid of enmity, do not carry it on. The longer you carry it on, the deeper it grows. This way, when will the negativity end? The ghost reflected a moment and then showed some wisdom and said, Who's your teacher? The answer was Venerable Abbot Master Empty Cloud of Zhusheng Monastery. The ghost says, Oh, I know about him. We talk about him in the ghost realm. I want to take refuge and receive the precepts. And did so. Here's the ghost bowing in repentance. 亲送至稽山，允公说戒谈，从此解冤结，邓川结会忏. The monks escorted the ghost back to Jizu Mountain, where Master Yun explained the platform of precepts. Thereafter, the bonds of enmity ceased. Repentance ceremonies were held in Dongchuan County. How about that? Ghost story. Yeah. So when you're a monk with the virtue and the fa li, the strength and dharma of Master Empty Cloud, you have to handle all kinds of stuff. You have to be a peacemaker, talking to generals. You have to be a diplomat, talking to politicians. You have to be a tireless traveler going across the country to get ministers replaced. You have to come back and be a ceremony monk to transmit precepts and refuges. You have to be a feng shui master. We're going to find out in the next couple episodes about Master Empty Cloud's skill at feng shui. You have to be a teacher who can speak to animals and get them to say the Buddha's name. You have to give refuge to foxes. Now you have to talk to ghosts. So think about this. People say, oh, leaving home. Why would you want to leave home? You give up so much, right? You take a loss in everything. You don't get wealthy, you don't have grandchildren, you don't have a car and a house. How could you possibly be satisfied leaving home? You must be a total loser. Yeah, in the eyes of the marketplace. But look at the work that you get to do. You get to go beyond the human realm, into the realm of animals, into the realm of ghosts, into the realm of politics, into the realm of natural disasters, and serve living beings in all these different ways. I would say, not too shabby, pretty good choice when you have someone of this incredible skill. Okay, World War II broke out. World War I broke out. The Japanese captured Qingdao. Okay, Cliff, you ready? We get the details. Go for it.
春节七地有郑川县绅士丁姓者，清孝廉也，指一女，年18岁未出阁。一日忽然不省人事，全家仓皇，即醒，变作男子声，指其父大骂曰：“你丁某，事事无我为匪，致丧我命。我大理西川人，名董占彪，你还记得否？今在阎王前告准，报8年之仇。”说毕，持刀逐丁某，丁还潜匿他处，不敢回家。鬼每日必来，来则女变形态，家中扰攘，乡里聚观，捕之。时鸡足山派素琴素直二僧望正川办事，或丁家群聚看鬼凶状。僧曰：“劝你不要这样，令地方不安。”鬼曰：“你出家人不要多事。”僧曰：“本不与我相干，但我师父常言，冤家宜解不宜结，宜结于身，何时得了？” 鬼似有卿曰：“你师是谁？”僧曰：“祝圣寺虚云和尚。”鬼曰：“我亦闻名于，但未见过他，肯与我受戒吗？”僧曰：“大慈大悲，度一切苦，如何不肯？”僧又劝他令丁姓出钱超度。鬼曰：“他伤天害理，我不要他钱。”僧曰：“令地方送一些钱，地方一安。”鬼又作恨声曰：“此仇不报，我恨难平，冤冤相报，又何了止？待我去问过大王，你明日在此等我。”鬼去，女子起立，含羞而入。次早，鬼先来，僧后至，则僧失信，告以因公。鬼曰：“我问过大王，说祝圣寺好个道场，准我去，但要你亲自送去。”于是地方绅士10余人携二僧至寺，晚上谈说世事。次日设坛为之，念经说戒，从此安静。正川人士结会时，到寺礼忏。
Okay. So these are the details, kind of adding the color to the black and white photograph. After the spring precepts concluded, there was a gentryman, meaning a middle-class gentleman, named Ding, who was known for his integrity and his good behavior. He had one daughter, 18 years old, unmarried. She lost consciousness one day, fell into a coma. The whole household was panicked, but she woke up, and then she was speaking in a man's voice and pointed at her father and cursed him. "You relied on your power to accuse me falsely of being a bandit, and I died. I am from Sichuan and Dali. My name is Dongjiang Biao. You remember me? I received permission from King Yama to come back and get you for the 8 years that I've been falsely wronged." Having finished speaking, she grabbed a knife and chased him. Terrified, he ran away. He didn't dare come home. The ghost went away and then returned every day, and her face and form would change. The house was a mess. Villagers gathered thinking it was better than TV, even though they didn't have TV yet. And then 2 monks, Suchin and Suzhi from Jizushan, came through. They saw the crowds outside watching the drama, and the ghosts, one monk said, "Don't do that. You're causing trouble." The ghost said, "Mind your own business." The monk said, "It's not my business, but my teacher says that enmity should be resolved and not bound more tightly. The more you tie it up, the deeper it gets, and it'll never end." The ghost thought it over and said, "Who taught you that?" The monk said, "Master Empty Cloud of Jusheng." The ghost said, "Oh yeah, I've heard of him. We talk about him down there among the ghosts. I never met him though. Could you give me the precepts?" The monk says, "He will do so. Of course he is willing." So the monk asked the ghost to have the Ding family pay for a ceremony. The ghost said, "I don't want his money. It's dirty money." The monk said, "Okay, let the community provide you with the money. Then the neighborhood will be peaceful." The ghost spoke with a voice of hatred, said, "If my wrongful death is not repaid, the hatred will never end." How do you end hatred with hatred? "I'm going to go ask King Yama. I'll be back tomorrow." The ghost departed. The girl stood up, back to herself. She had no idea what was going on. She was totally embarrassed, thinking, "Nobody's going to marry me now." She went inside. Early the next morning, the ghost came, but the monks were late. Look at this. The ghost scolded them for not holding their promise, and they said, "I'm sorry, we had official business. That's why we're late." So they settled that business. That didn't make it in the picture biography. The ghost said, "I've asked King Yama. He said Jusheng Monastery has a good reputation among King Yama's court. So I can go there, but you two have to take me so I don't get lost along the way." So with 10 neighbors and 2 monks, they accompanied the daughter possessed by the ghost to the monastery. They talked it over, set up an altar, recited sutras, explained the precepts, and things were fine. Whenever the people of Dongchuan performed associations, they would come to the monastery to repent first. Oh my goodness. How about that as a story? So the details in the autobiography are fascinating, adding to the black and white sketch that is required just because of the demands of space. We can't put every story in there, just because it's a picture biography. So Master Hua chose which details to include. Okay, now the biggest business here, the principle that is brought into the spotlight is when beings are harmed, the karma isn't over. Say it again. If we harm somebody unjustly, we still have to pay it back. Cause and effect is really working here in this story. And because Master Empty Cloud is very much like Master Xuanzang, reporting in a journal, in his diary, his autobiography, everything going on around him, like the earthquake, etc. So we get to witness the events in the life of a virtuous monk. People come to him and ask him to solve issues that are happening on all sides, but you just don't get to hear about it unless somebody is keeping track. So, who's keeping track? Well, 2 monks of Master Empty Cloud's monastery were passing through a town, and the big news was so-and-so is possessed. There's a ghost, 鬼上身, right? Somebody's been possessed, and they're claiming that 8 years ago, they were killed unjustly. So there's a debt. So the monks say, our teacher has got the virtue to sort it all out. Come in, if you want to take refuge, come to see him. Well, look at the ghost goes back and can talk to King Yama. There's another detail that is just like, oh my goodness. What they discover is Master Empty Cloud's name is well known in the heavens and in the hells. So King Yama issues an order, goes, slaps the bench with his gavel and says, you can go, but don't get lost. Ghosts are fluid. So he allows the karma to be negated and neutralized by the power of the Dharma, because they trust that Zhusheng Monastery in Sichuan will do it right. So that's the unspoken part, that reciting sutras and bowing repentances can neutralize negativity, can neutralize bad karma. How about that? The power of repentance to actually get in and do the karmic engineering of reducing the amount of negativity and increasing the goodness. So what else can do that? If it weren't for King Yama's respect for the Dharma, then the enmity just goes on and on. The ghost would kill the father would have to come back and remember and repay it. King Yama's docket in the courts would just be full of generation after generation of this kind of paying the price, right? Just reckoning out evil. Whose turn is it now to get repaid and then create the same karma over again? So here we go. Because we have someone, you could say the karmic buck stops at Zhusheng Monastery, where Master Empty Cloud is there to make sure things are done rufa, according to Dharma, and then let the Dharma do the work. So how amazing is this? I saw the very same thing happen at Gold Mountain Monastery when Master Xuanhua, one night during lectures, was overcome by a coughing fit. He couldn't continue. He said to all of us, sitting there listening to him explain the Dharma, he said, "Don't go away, I'll be back." He got down off the seat, went upstairs to his room, And we waited for an hour, and Shifu came back down. It was now 9:15, later than usual. He said, you all saw that happen to me, right? We said, yes, we did, Shifu, what's going on? He said, in the Han Dynasty, I was a general, and I harmed my opponent, my opposing general, and I shouldn't have killed him, but I did. I killed him unjustly. I should have allowed him the rules of warfare. I didn't have to execute him, but I went ahead and did it. In my lifetime as a general, he came back tonight for repayment. Now, according to cause and effect, I owed him my life, said Shifu, but because I have a little bit of cultivation, he said, modestly, I was able to cross him over. Therefore, if you cultivate, if you have virtue, big disasters become small, small disasters go away, he said. So I owed him my life. I only paid him back with physical discomfort. I only got the karma reduced with physical discomfort, and then I used the Dharma to take him across, he said. Do you believe it? And we're like, mouths open, seeing what we saw before our eyes. Shifu said, yes. He said, that's the way it is. Now, he said, how do you go to the positive? He said, also in lifetimes past, we were all together in the Dharma assembly of Vairochana Buddha. Some of you made vows to become Dharma masters. Some of you made vows to become Dharma protectors. Some of you made vows to build monasteries. Some of you made vows to translate sutras. He said, and so here we are again, doing the Buddha's work in a dream, he said. So we bowed to the Buddha, and that was it. What can you say? All right, time for us to dedicate merit. Told you, today was a great episode for those of you who love these stories of Master Empty Cloud's biography. See you tomorrow at 1:30 Australia time, 7:30 California time, 11:30 Taiwan time. We will be investigating the Avatamsaka and sharing stories of our trip to Taiwan to inaugurate the new Taichung branch. See you tomorrow. May every living being, our minds as one and radiant with light, share the fruits of peace with hearts of goodness, luminous and bright. If people hear and see, our hands and hearts can find in giving unity. May our minds awake to great compassion, wisdom, and to joy. May kindness find reward. May all who sorrow leave their grief and pain. May this boundless light dispel the darkness of our endless night. Because our hearts are one, this world of pain turns into paradise. May all become compassionate and wise. May all become compassionate and wise. May all become compassionate and wise. Okay, that'll do it for today. We can bow to Guanyin Bodhisattva before we end. Here we go. Second bow. Third bow. Bow in respect to the Venerable Master. That's all for us for today. See you all next week. Ami Tofo, everybody. Bye-bye now.